Hey guys!
Okay, so it's Oscar season, and me and Ken have been watching all of the Oscar movies.
Almost all of them.
Some of them are not like on streaming, or they're not even like showing in theaters over here. But we've seen at least all the best pictures except for one. The Oscars will be March 2nd, so that'll be fun.
In this video, we will be not only predicting what we think is going to win or who we think is going to win, but who we would want to win out of the options.
Am I gonna predict blind?
So you might be wondering why Cherish is here, because she has not been watching the movies. She's seen
Wicked.
About Wicked. That's it. We thought, like how the Oscars show a little preview of each Best Picture, she will be doing a little preview of every Best Picture. While we go over one category, she will have the time to look up a synopsis of one of the Best Pictures, and then she can recite it to the camera and give us all a little rundown of what she was able to grasp, if anything. Because some of these movies are really long, aka The Brutalist. Like, I don't know what she's gonna say about that one. While we talk about our first category, Cherish, you will look up the plot. I need help understanding this one. Dune Part 2. That is a complicated movie.
Behind us, so we have our little board. We are going to do a pyramid style.
We'll do a little pyramid dance mom, Abby Lee Miller pyramid.
Well, congratulations. You won. Was it your best performance? No.
Because we're gonna start with all the acting categories, so we'll pyramid style them.
If you were confused about this black square behind me, it is jail. Some things deserve to be there, okay?
That's saved for a special movie. If you know, you know. Okay, so the first one we're doing is actor in a leading role. Sadly, we haven't seen Sing because that's not showing and it's not on streaming.
It does look really interesting though. It's based on true story and most of the actors in it play themselves, so that's really cool. I think he will probably be one of the ones that they're gonna consider for this one, but we can't really say much about that. So we might just leave him off of our pyramid.
Well, I think it's pretty easy to start with the bottom. I'm so sorry. I don't think an impression qualifies an Oscar.
It's not really anything against Timothy, okay? He is a good actor. However, the movie was not.
The movie was not great. This side.
Does it matter?
I don't know.
In Dance Moms, it goes the other direction.
Okay.
So there he goes. Sorry, Timmy, bottom of the pyramid. He was great in Dune.
Yes, I would have more nominated him for Dune than for A Complete Unknown. Okay.
It would be harder to put him on the bottom. I think I would still put him here, even if it was Dune 2. Sorry. Well, I mean, okay, but also if we're talking about impressions, and we're not putting Sebastian Stan,
that's true.
But I disagree with that, because I think Sebastian Stan did so good.
It's a little different. I don't know. Maybe it's because we know Trump a little bit more.
And he also like evolved. He didn't like quite do an impression. In the beginning, it's a lot more, interesting, I guess. Intriguing.
He wasn't as creative of a character as Trump has made himself today.
Yeah.
Like in the media, you know, when he is older, when he plays him later, he really gets into the impressions. But before, he was just playing this guy who was trying to make it on Wall Street, you know?
So I think what we got next is Voldy.
Well.
And Conclave.
Ralph Fiennes, right? That's how you say his last name. If you wanted to know what he looks like actually, but we're doing this.
I was so confused. I was like, is there a Harry Potter movie
I
nominated?
think this is more recognizable than Ralph Fiennes himself, though.
What the hell kind of pyramid is that?
No. Put him on the bottom.
We only have 4.
The pro is talking. In Dance Moms, when there's 4, you do 3 on the bottom and 1 on the top.
Well, I was just saying because I think his performance, and in this movie, I think this movie is better, so I was gonna put it up higher. I don't know if we should really put him on here because we have not seen this movie. But if I did, I would probably put him
We'll just
here.
put him in the middle. We'll do this, and then we'll do
higher.
like 1, 2, 3, and it'll look like a penis.
Okay.
Because Coleman Domingo's good, and we don't doubt that he's good.
I did try to watch clips of him acting wherever I could find him. There aren't that many, but it looked like it was gonna be good, so.
Well, I've seen him in Euphoria, so.
Next, we were talking about him.
Good old Sebastian
Put him right there.
I mean, I would give Adrien Brody the Oscar because he was the best part of The Brutalist. And, you know, acting that much in a movie, gotta count for something.
Yeah, he was good in the movie, and that's all we really get to say about that for now.
Yeah.
Here is our penis pyramid.
For the actors.
Now it is time to switch over to Cherish and see what she has come up with for Dune 2.
Okay. That didn't tell me anything besides Zendaya was a way bigger character in the first movie than the second one. So
No. She is not a character at all in the first movie.
Dune Part 2. There's a boy named Paul who lives in a big sandy desert planet called Arrakis.
Arrakis, yeah.
Arrakis. Dune. He has to be really brave because bad people took over his home. Paul makes friends with the desert people called the Freedmen. Freedmen. And he learns their ways.
And what is that way?
He rides on a giant sandworm.
That's the way.
And he becomes a strong leader and he tries to stop the bad guys who wants to control special sand that gives people superpowers. In the end, he has to make a big choice about who he wants to be and how to protect his new family, which I'm assuming are the sand people. So if you could give me a letter score.
Honestly, a B.
B minus
I
or
didn't
C
even mention
plus.
Zendaya.
She's in a lot of scenes. Like, the Fremen is like showed through her, kind of. But you didn't get any of the mom's plot line, which is pretty big.
And the fact that he is like supposedly a messiah.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
The Kwisatz Haderach or something like that.
Cherish's next movie is Anora, star-looking girl. And our next category is going to be actor in a supporting role. Who is this guy? Oh, this is the bad one. He's the bottom. He's the bottom, bro. So we got our spread here, and I think we pretty much agree very strongly about this person. Dare I say even jail? But we'll just put him on the very, very bottom. We pretty much clearly agree on this one. Like, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. Wait, what the heck? This is kind of hard to do. For the very first scene that he's in, he is like so cartoonishly evil. And I'm like, this is not the vibe of this movie. That's all I can think of is like, he felt like a cartoon villain. And then there's like a very serious scene where he does a very bad thing. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And it just felt like very out of place. Like I really did not like it because of how poorly I think he acted, because I was like, you are like a cartoon villain and you have done now this like very heinous thing. And I don't know, it just made me it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. I'm really sorry to this man, I'm dragging him.
It's just your classic like rich guy. Like he put on an accent or some kind of voice, and like the way that he acted was it just felt a little fake to us.
It also doesn't help that Adrien Brody really was carrying this movie and was such a good actor that we just felt like everyone was kind of a bad actor in this movie other than Adrien Brody. Probably not everyone, but at least like the dad and the son. They're like cartoon villain energy.
Our next pick, Edward Norton from A Complete Unknown. It's kind of just because he didn't really do much.
It's like technically another impression for someone who I don't know. I knew some of the songs that he was singing, so supposedly if he wrote them, okay.
It wasn't bad, it just wasn't outstanding.
It also doesn't stand out against the next three that we have. I would very much agree with all three of these nominations.
Okay, these ones, we like them all, but we have to, you know, put it in some sort of order.
Yura Borisov.
So sorry if that was butchered.
I think I nailed it.
In Anora, I think his character was cool. His acting was good.
After watching the movie, he is the person that I would probably like nominate from the movie.
Like from
the best, other than like Mikey Madison.
Are you gonna be able to choose between these two?
Yes. Would you actually switch them?
It's just hard because the Apprentice is much more of like a drama than A Real Pain is. A Real Pain has more drama moments, but this one's really hard for sure.
For the bit, it has to be Kieran Culkin winning.
I personally think that Jeremy Strong's performance, just because the movie was very heavy, especially because it was about someone I don't like at all.
Yeah.
But I don't even know the guy. I don't really know the guy that he played as. His character was just really interesting.
I will say, this doesn't have to be, you know, a deciding factor, but like Kieran Culkin made me cry, so I'm just like, that does count for something.
And it's all about crying in the Oscars, right?
It is. It made me feel something. Here. What is this pyramid?
It's a terrible pyramid.
It's hard
Well,
because
Amelia put it too low because you can't see this man behind her. That's why I put this one higher.
he's half in jail though.
The only reason this is like this is because this is a really close race here.
I really do think that they're gonna choose Kieran Culkin.
Our Oscar prediction is Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain.
And I can't wait for the memes. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, for this one, I did more bullet points than how I did the first time. So, Anora, I'm pretty sure is a weird Cinderella, like a modern day Cinderella, I guess. And it is about Annie. Annie is a sex worker who marries a wealthy son of a Russian. I don't know how to say this word.
Oligarchy?
One more time.
Oligarchy?
Oligarch?
Is it not oligarch?
I
Oligarch?
thought it was old.
Marries a wealthy
Oligarch?
son
I
of a
don't know.
Russian oligarch?
Oligarchy? Oh, I don't know. Now you made me insecure. I don't know.
Anyways, okay, so she's a stripper from Brooklyn and she meets Vanya.
I didn't remember.
Vanya. So then Vanya pays Ani to be a fake girlfriend for 1 week, and then they fall in love and elope in Viva Las Vegas. Then Vanya's parents find out and they do not like this, so they send a bunch of
Men.
to New York to break them up. And then the evil henchmen capture Annie. They take her back to an old workplace? I don't really know what that was about. I'm kind of confused. Annie and Vanya talk and she agrees to get an annulment because she realizes her marriage was not based on love and she has a mental breakdown and starts crying. And then
After doing a little
does she get frisky? I don't know. I tried to skip over that part. And there's an open end to the movie. I tried to see if they were together or not, and it just said, up for interpretation.
It's pretty closed-ended. They get a divorce and he goes back to Russia and never return. He said he can never go back to America.
That one was a little long. I kind of got bored.
A B. Well, that's how I felt about that movie.
That's how I felt about you guys breaking all those guys and fighting.
I like the movie. I'll give that one like a C. My rating is about the performance, okay? The performance of your recreation of the story.
You want me to stand up and recreate
Not
it?
stand up, but like the way that you're saying it. I don't know.
Your next movie will be a complete unknown.
We're on the leading actress's part now.
Thank you for leading us into that, Cherish.
Our next category is actresses in a leading role.
There's a lot to unpack with this category. Some people who have not done great things in this category. You can do the honors. You speak on it.
As someone who is also trans, I feel like I can put her in jail. And it's not because of that reason. It's because of all the things that she said. I also didn't like this movie, so... And honestly,
And it was also bad.
her
And
performance...
she was bad. Like, the singing was bad.
Her, like, acting performance wasn't that bad. I would say it's, like, not terrible, but is it nomination worthy? No.
But also, if you're nominated for a musical role and you use AI to help you hit notes when you have like the best singer of all time.
If the higher notes are a problem because of like the hormones and stuff like that, change the songs. This is a new
it's
show.
an original musical.
Make the songs something that your actors can sing, okay? So I'm sorry.
And it does not deserve, like, that should not be nominated. Like, you were nominated for a musical and you couldn't hit the notes. That is like,
and don't be
how
racist.
could that be not? And also, don't be like a terrible person. Now that that's out of the way, there's also a movie that we haven't seen. We haven't seen I'm Still Here, but the other person who escaped jail, okay?
Slimly.
We're not. It's not our place to forgive her. We'll put her at the bottom. To be fair.
You know what? We're not gonna put her on the board because we did not watch this movie.
Oh, not on the board. That's good.
But just so you know, we know. Okay. So this is gonna be a small pyramid. For our first person who actually makes it on the board,
And I will say, all three of these actresses, I could see it going to any of them and like I wouldn't be mad. There is like somebody who I really do want to win it, but if like Demi Moore wins it, even though we're putting her technically at the bottom of the pyramid, I'm not gonna be like, that's outrageous. I really loved Margaret Qualley in The Substance. I mean, I'm dressed as The Substance. It was only my favorite movie. It was only my favorite movie ever, but I loved Margaret Qualley in it. I'm surprised that she's not up here, or if she would be in supporting, I don't know. But I think she should have been nominated.
Okay, I personally think that Mikey Madison's performance was really good. It was the star of the movie, I would say. I could see the Academy voting for her, but we're gonna put her here.
All those women look the same.
You're just far away.
Sorry, not the jail one, but those two that you just put on the board, like...
It's just because they both have dark
black hair.
Well, from here, they both just look like white girls with brown hair.
Their age is like pretty far. I don't know, she's like in her 50s? Or is that just the character that she played? And then she's like 20 something?
Damn.
Mikey Madison is 25. Again, yeah, I wouldn't be mad if any of these people won. And Mikey Madison was the best thing about Anora, for sure, too. So, but...
This is a Timothy
I think the clear winner is Cynthia Erivo. I have been a diehard fan of Cynthia Erivo, and this is my unbiased opinion, okay? I genuinely do think she deserves this win. I loved Wicked. It was so good and it made me cry.
The EGOT as well.
I think she would get the EGOT.
She would.
Yeah.
This is her last award to get the EGOT. Not saying that has to happen, but I think she does deserve it. She is a triple threat, as you would say in
and she didn't have to use AI to hit the notes. And she sang live on wires.
And if she doesn't win this time, you know, thank God there's a part 2, so she could try one more time.
She has another go. She has been in other movies as well, so there's not lost hope for her. She is still pretty young too. She's got years ahead of her.
If she doesn't win this year, I genuinely do think she's gonna win for Wicked Part 2, because this is our choice, is Cynthia Erivo. But my prediction is probably Demi Moore, and I think they're kind of gonna pull like a Jamie Lee Curtis and give her kind of a legacy Oscar, because she's just been in the industry for so long. She only won her first award at the Golden Globes. Isn't that what she said? Like that was her first award she ever won?
My mom told me that she was gonna quit acting, but then landed this role or something. So it's nice that she's getting awarded for her work, you know?
I'm not too against the Academy giving out like legacy awards. So if it does go to Demi Moore, I'm not gonna be like throwing a fit or being like, this is outrageous or this is wrong, corrupt. I'm gonna say, yeah, I mean, she's been in the industry long enough that she's allowed to have this.
We're going to kick it back over to Galinda and see your synopsis on The Complete Unknown.
Yeah, tell me, because I don't even know.
I'm trying to get a better score, so I've gone a different route this time. I wrote it like a story.
Yes, but it in musical form. It's a musical.
A complete unknown. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Bob who loved playing his guitar and singing songs.
When do we tell her this is based on a true story?
Did you know that?
No. But it has Timothy Chalamet. How many freaking movies is he in?
Let's go.
He travels to a big city called New York to meet his hero, Woody, who was a famous musician. Bob made many new friends who also loved music, like Pete and Joan. I don't know who they are.
Who's Joan?
But there's Pete and Joan. He starts playing his songs for people, and they love them. But as Bob becomes more famous, he wants to try new things with his music, like using electric guitars, which some people did not like. Even though it was hard, Bob stayed true to himself and his music, becoming a legend who inspired many.
That was great. A+. I like that
was
one.
more interesting than that movie.
Yeah. And you didn't have to go too crazy into it. You know, it was a good, clean synopsis. A+ for me.
Thank you. I don't know who Pete and Joan are. I could not find out who it was. You guys were already done and I couldn't look it up, so.
I will say I'll give it a A- because you're missing Sylvia and that feels like a big part.
Who's Sylvia? Is that like a girlfriend?
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. I still give it A+ because performance.
Toss. Thank you.
Oh, what
The
a
Brutalist.
fierce picture you chose. Do you have a favorite?
No.
Or do you think they have a favorite in this category?
Look, it's Glinda. Let us be glad.
Cherish's next movie is Conclave. This is gonna be such an interesting synopsis.
Okay, this next category is actress in a supporting role. To start it off, I would not consider this a supporting role. I wouldn't say she did bad, but it's just like, I don't know.
At least like Kieran Culkin, we're like, okay, maybe he is second to Jesse Eisenberg. In this movie, I would say Zoe Saldana has a bigger part than Emilia Perez. Like, she starts the movie and she ends the movie. Like, we follow her life more.
It's from her perspective.
More, like, it feels like it is more.
Yeah, what do we want to start with?
We didn't watch...
Yes, we did.
Wait, what is this?
This is Conclave. It's the girl from Conclave.
Oh my gosh, she's nominated?
Yeah, the sister.
For what?
For her performance.
No, put her at the bottom. Put her at the bottom. At least she sang. No offense to this woman. The other option to nominate was Dakota Fanning, and she was one of the best parts of a complete unknown. And you're gonna nominate. She didn't do anything.
She had a monologue.
She did? I don't know. Very forgettable performance. I'm sure she did great, but I'm surprised that's nominated for anything.
We're gonna put this down here just because of the lack of time, I guess. It's a very small role.
Substance.
But
it's not gonna win. We also have a clear next person, I think we're putting.
From a complete unknown.
I'm surprised she was the one nominated. I would have nominated Dakota Fanning. I think they only nominated her because she must have done some kind of impression of someone I don't know. And she sang, which she sounded good. The songs were good that she sang. But Dakota Fanning gave a little bit of a more rounded, in-depth performance. If you want to put her next, you can.
Well, I just think this movie sucked. So choosing a performance from this movie is just hard for me to swallow, I guess. She did what she could for sure in this movie. She was the reason why I gave it 1 star.
I just got flashbacks to the changes society, changes the soul. Changes the soul, changes society. I hated that scene. And she was in that scene singing that song.
I'm literally baffled that this movie is nominated at all. Her performance wasn't bad per se. She did the best she could. But I'm not gonna say she did better than these other actors.
No, that's fair.
The next one we were going to do Felicity Jones from The Brutalist. I think her performance was good. It was very polarizing to Adrian Brody, you know.
I think she also kept up with him while many other people in that movie did not keep up with his acting. But she did, and it was pretty good. It was just that movie is just
very slow.
It's a brutal watch.
Honestly, I think the first half of that movie was way better than the second half.
I could see that.
If it picked up in the second half, I wouldn't have disliked it as much, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you would have guessed it. I'm honestly kind of surprised too, because it's not that she did a bad job or whatever per se, but I guess people wouldn't expect someone like Ariana Grande to do as good of a job as she did. I know a lot of people who were really concerned about how she was going to do this role, but I think she pulled it off pretty well.
Me. I was concerned that she wasn't going to do well, and then she blew me out of the water.
I was a little bit concerned, but I wasn't as concerned for part 1. I'm more concerned for part 2.
She was really good at the comedy aspect, but once it came down to
the dramatic,
her acting when she was running down the hallway and all the monkeys were coming through the window, she was like,
it was still a little funny.
And it was a little funny, but it's also this is a moment that is not asking for that. And I mean, I guess that could also be a director thing too, because the director helps with that too.
But either way, I mean, vocals, 10 out of 10. Actually, I'll give it a 9.9 out of 10 because
the first time I watched it, the first time I watched it, the first song is a little questionable, and I know opera singers probably are but otherwise, she did a great job.
I still think she deserves it, and I do hope she wins. Honestly, I'm predicting Ariana Grande.
Amidst recent controversies about Emilia Perez, the movie, I would pick probably Ariana Grande.
Just look at the pictures here. How fierce is this?
She doesn't have non-fierce pictures.
I think she is a strong contender to win.
I wouldn't be mad about Felicity Jones, I wouldn't be terribly mad about anybody.
I mean, I really cannot. The role. I'll say the role winning. That would be very shocking if this role won. Okay.
Switching back over to Cherish.
What movie did we give you?
Conclave.
Oh, wow.
And you're probably not going to mention this character at all.
No.
And they're nominated?
Yep.
I didn't even know that she was nominated.
I am a little confused on the plot.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
bear with me. Conclave. The Pope dead, and a bunch of old guys in red hats are trying to pick a new one. They lock themselves in a big room and start voting. But oh no, everyone wants to pick someone different. They start whispering secrets to each other and making sneaky plans and get in a pretty pissy mood. And then just when they figure it out, boom! Huge surprise changes everything. Who is gonna wear the big white hat?
What changes everything? You don't know?
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I got excited when you started talking about Ariana Grande and I kind of stopped looking at my phone. Who is gonna wear a big white hat? The person who wears a big white hat.
That's my extent of knowledge of the Pope too. So,
Becoming the new Pope is Cardinal Lomeli. I'm gonna call him Cardinal L. He was originally part of the group trying to pick the new Pope, but in the end, he surprises everybody by picking himself, even though nobody expected him to become the new Pope. I'm a little unclear about the end. I don't know.
I thought the other guy became the Pope.
The other guy did become the Pope.
The Cardinal L.
No, that's the main character.
It was the guy that started with a B. I'm sorry, I'm giving this an F. I'll give you a D- because you had some kind of energy.
Yeah, there wasn't energy going on, and I
energy.
did like
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Popes. I was so confused.
I will say, this movie, I knew this was going to be a
the
complicated
beginning, I was
summary.
like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next category.
Your movie is The Brutalist.
God.
Are you recording
be
everything
brutal.
now?
Yeah. Oh. The Brutalist.
Our next category is so fun. It's Best Animated. This is usually my favorite category every year. I watched so many movies, guys. It was movie.
This last week and a half has been at least 2 movies every day, I swear.
And I sadly have not seen one of these movies. My priority was Best Pictures.
Yes, she had to watch as many of those as possible.
I haven't seen Memoir of a Snail, and I plan on watching it before the Oscars, so maybe I can say something about it and put it in.
This is a really hard category.
Is this a horror movie?
No.
What did we tell you? The Brutalist?
This category is really hard because I feel like usually there's really good animated movies that they put in this. Especially last year, a specific movie got snubbed.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
That should have won Best Picture.
Best Picture, okay? Die on this hill. Die on this hill. Just because of the nature of this, I probably would put Memoir of a Snail at the bottom. It was a good movie, and obviously, it was claymation, so that's cool. Out of all of these options, I would probably just put it down here. And it's not anything I still like this movie.
I don't doubt that there's a bad movie in this category, but there definitely isn't a standout. I know some people think that there's a standout in this category, but for me, I don't really think that there's a huge standout. But I will say having 2 claymation movies nominated makes my heart happy when there's movies nominated with AI. So we watched Inside Out so long ago.
My only thing about Inside Out 2 is that it just wasn't as good as the first one. The first one makes me cry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And this one's still good.
The first one is so good. Because I do have critiques of Inside Out 2. Those 2 movies give very different vibes. Inside Out 2 feels strictly a comedy, and it's just I think the movie's hilarious, but it doesn't compare to the other 3.
I feel like it resonates more with older kids and adults because it talks about a part of a life that a little kid hasn't gone through yet, like puberty, right? And it goes through all of that kind of stuff. They probably won't even care about that though. The next one is going to be Flow.
Flow is such a cute movie. I love cats.
Yeah, as cat owners, we really like.
We loved Flow.
I don't think you knew going into it that there was no speaking, right?
No, I heard someone say something about a movie having no speaking, but then I thought it did. I don't even know what I thought.
It's able to tell a story well without any words. And that's kind of like a film thing, show don't tell.
Yeah, and a few things. I loved the different characters on the boat. And this is my favorite shot in the movie, how I don't know, I'm gendering the cat.
The cat is a girl.
I think it's a girl. So the cat at the beginning is looking in her reflection.
Just do it. It's fine. You can say she.
Then at the end of the movie, she's looking at the reflection, but then is surrounded by all the other boat animals.
So sweet.
I think the animation has like really beautiful moments, but then it also has
Clunky?
like more clunky moments. I think it's like a perfect middle ground of the category, but still really good.
So this next one is probably one that we're going to argue about. I wouldn't argue this to my grave at all, which one of these movies is better. I did cry like 3 times watching A Wild Robot.
But you're not going to argue for it?
Because I know how I like this movie, but I like A Wild Robot better. And maybe it's because you told me that you didn't like it very much, and so my expectations went back down after.
But everyone else said they loved it.
Yeah, but people loved it, and then you're like, I didn't like it. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just like a fine film. And then I cried 3 times. So I personally would put Wallace and Gromit next on the rung just because of the crying. And as you know,
is that what you're doing right
crying is important for the Academy.
You know, I'll allow it to go on the top because I genuinely think I must have just missed something in The Wild Robot. It was fine, but it felt like I was watching a kid's movie. I didn't feel that watching Flow. And like Wallace and Gromit gives kid movie, but Wallace and Gromit has some adult jokes in there. What was it? Like the on your doorstep or something? The news anchor was like on your doorstep. That's a drag name, first off. And I just smiled watching this movie. So this is my choice to win, but I think I'm very much in the minority for how I felt about The Wild Robot. But I mean, I didn't stop smiling watching this movie. I loved it. And what a big FU to AI. A movie talking about the dangers of AI.
And it's
made out of claymation. So.
Okay, this one made me cry 3 times. I said that already. I just like the story, the idea of people coming in who other people might look down on and they don't understand, and then realizing that these are all like beings, like everyone is a being that deserves to be loved and respected. People just look at the robot and they're like, you don't belong here. I'm not even gonna try to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. But then she like saves them, helps them out in so many ways. And then they learn they were being stupid, you know? And there's a lot of stuff with like motherhood as well, but that was the part of it that resonated with me.
For sure the story is there. It's for kids, but also the jokes were just, Wallace and Gromit is for kids, but yet it had jokes that landed. The Wild Robot just lost me from time to time, I think. But the story was good.
I do think that the Academy is going to choose A Wild Robot for sure.
I agree. I think it's gonna win. It's nominated in like other categories too. Yeah.
Score.
This is nominated for score and for sound.
And for sound? Interesting.
I think it's pretty clear that The Wild Robot is going to win because it's nominated for
multiple things.
Other categories, and they usually don't do that with animated movies. But I thought something
Which is a shame because animated movies are good.
Nominated. Okay, well, that's the end of that.
All right, we're
Cherish?
switching over.
I think you had quite a bit of time.
This was the longest movie.
What did we give you? Oh yeah, this was The Brutalist.
The Brutalist. We're ready.
God. Yeah, good. We gave you more time because this is a long movie.
My synopsis is pretty short.
Yeah, not a lot happens, so it's okay.
In post-war Europe, there is a man named...
I don't remember.
Laszlo.
Oh, Laszlo.
Laszlo. There's a bunch of accents on it. There's a man named Laszlo who builds big, strong buildings. He moves to a new place with his wife, aka America, to make his dreams come true. But it's hard because people don't always understand his ideas and visions. Laszlo has to work really hard to learn new things, and in the end, he makes a really special building that people love. At first, I did think that this was a Christian chapel, but I then learned that it's the Van Burden Institute. Did I say that right?
Sure.
A school, not a chapel. So basically the gist is this seems like it's a movie about following your dreams, even when it's tough.
You did miss a little bit. You said he moved there with his wife, but he moved there years before his wife could ever get there. Because she was stuck.
That's kind of true.
She couldn't get over. And also, I mean, this doesn't really matter.
I wrote that down.
But it is like a chapel and a gym and a school and a theater.
Wait, there is a chapel?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was trying to figure out what it was that he built.
It's just like
but
a
what?
big
What is
building.
this iconic structure?
Looking at the way that the building is made, I'm like, how would they even hold mass in this room? Like, where do people sit? On the little stairs? In the circle?
Was that supposed to be?
I don't know. Where are you? I don't know.
Where they held like a...
Or is that just like a prayer room? I don't fucking know.
I don't know. He built multiple things, which is why...
Well, it's all one building though.
What the
He only built one thing in America.
Well, he built the library.
Oh.
And then that building.
I guess.
All for this one singular man that did not deserve the time
and
effort.
It's all made up. I watched an almost 4-hour movie about a made-up man. Okay, I'll give you a B-.
I will also give you a B-.
Because it's just about him building that building.
Yeah. And
4 hours of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emilia Perez.
What is this feeling so sudden and new? I felt the moment I laid eyes on you. Can you tell I have one brain cell right now? If you're watching this video right now, comment. What should they comment?
What did we get wrong? What did we get right?
So comment a cat emoji down below.
Oh.
What? Okay, we're gonna do cinematography while Cherish looks up.
The substance.
She's gonna look up the substance while we do 2 categories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cinematography for this movie.
That's honestly, I have to say, that's probably one of the best things about this movie is the cinematography. The shots that they had were kind of cool. However, this movie sucked and it deserves to go in jail.
It also has like really bad shots. Like the green screen is not good. I will say some of like the choreography sequences, the Selena Gomez song, I thought it was interesting that they were like filming them through like the karaoke machine. I don't think it fit the movie, but such a weird movie. So odd.
We did not fully watch Maria. Some of the shots that I saw in the very small amount of the movie that I watched were good, but I can't really say much because I didn't watch it all.
The other 3 contenders are some beasts, we'll say that.
I'm gonna start it off though.
Yeah, I'd agree.
There were just way too many shots.
So many montages.
Dude, we need 5 different shots of the mountains where they cut out the stone.
Did I need to see that stupid rock in the
building with the cross
at
on?
5 different times in the movie. Like it just comes back. They just do another montage of that chapel.
And I get it.
It's just the same thing.
I get it.
Wow.
They're like making a point. They're coming back to the same thing. There's a reason why they're doing it. However, it was just overdone. It was overdone too much and it didn't feel purposeful. When I watch a movie and they give me a long montage of something random, I want it to happen after like an emotional scene or something that I'm like, oh my God, I need to process that. And then it's like, here's lovely music with this stuff happening in the background. Maybe that actually was what it was for some people, but I just didn't feel that way with this movie, so.
There's like a really long montage of Italy, and that is honestly the only thing I remember from this movie. There's like 5 shots of boats, 5 shots of statues, and all these different buildings, and I'm like, I understand buildings because he's an architect, but I'm like just not a fan of montages.
Dune 2 has probably some of the best cinematography I've ever seen throughout the entire movie. Every shot I feel like was gorgeous. Maybe it's like the fact that they do like wide shots and it's just like makes them look pretty. I think that this movie has the best cinematography, but Amelia disagrees, so we're gonna put it down here.
I mean, this could be like an unfair critique of the movie because I watched this on a TV while I watched Nosferatu in theaters. For me, Dune Part 2, it just did not hold up on a TV. I very much questioned why everyone loved this movie because I was like, it does not look good.
Maybe your TV sucks.
I don't know.
If we're gonna talk about like the shots that wowed me, Nosferatu, probably the biggest thing in the movie that I enjoyed was like the shots that they had. They were just very jarring. The one shot of the boyfriend, I guess, I don't know what his name is. The one shot of him in the castle where it's like, you know, I just kept being like, wow, like that looks beautiful. The way that they framed it and everything, you know.
Yeah, I do want this for cinematography, but I also think I'm getting this confused with the first one because now I'm remembering this does like the weird black and white stuff.
It does, yeah.
Okay, I liked the cinematography better in this one than the first one.
I do probably think just because of the nominations, the Academy is probably going to choose The Brutalist.
Really?
I think that this one's a little bit more pretentious in its cinematography and they might like that. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it'll be between these two. I genuinely do think the Academy hates Dune. The next category is costuming. I think this is a really interesting category because there's good contenders in here. I think it's pretty clear this one is first on the list though. Again, I think it's because it's like a period piece maybe. The only costuming I remember is that stupid newsboy hat. That's all I could give it.
I mean, it might look just like what he wore, but is it bad for me to say that's not that hard? Because you can just look at a picture and recreate it.
Some accuracy?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Sure.
We didn't watch Gladiator 2. Obviously, it has some sick costumes. I mean, if you just like look at the trailer, you can see. But yeah, we're not gonna put it on because we didn't watch it. So Conclave, just because it's not anything crazy.
It's also like only one costume
whole time.
technically.
Yeah.
It looks really nice, but everyone is in the same costume.
Nosferatu is next. Their costumes were really cool. I mean, just Orlok himself.
The furs.
The fur is cool.
I specifically like remember the dress she wears when she thinks her like husband's dead. I don't know. There's like a really big dress she wears with like this bonnet, and it's really cool.
Obviously, we're gonna put the top one as Wicked. Just think about how many costumes that they had to do, and they were all different. I like that they used like the skirts for like anyone who like wanted to wear them.
I was taken from the Broadway show.
Their specific costumes, like the main characters had a few different ones that I think really fit the characters.
Yeah, everything is so fitted, and I think that's like the most important element of like costuming is having like a piece that looks good on them. Everyone looked good in what they were wearing.
What do you think the Academy should choose?
I think, honestly, I think Wicked, because also she wears like that giant dress, the salami dress, so go salami dress.
All right, now we're gonna kick it over to Cherish to hear all about the substance.
Once again, I did just write a summary. I probably should have reread this. Here's my notes app. It's kind of long.
Oh my god.
The Substance is a movie about a group of people who are trying to stop a very powerful drug, and it's super dangerous. Is this like a real drug, or did they make it up for the movie?
They made it up.
Okay.
It's Ozempic.
I was trying to. Okay. It's called Novus, right? Is that how you say it?
Huh? I don't even know what it's called.
When I looked up what is the drug, it said Novus. Apparently, it can hurt others. Amelia says it's Ozempic, so I guess it's Ozempic.
No, it's not.
The Novus drug in The Substance, it enhances the ability to make people feel stronger, smarter, and more capable. However, it comes with very, very, very dangerous side effects, including addiction, memory loss, and it has the potential to hurt others who use it, I guess. You guys gave me way too much time. I wrote down so many details.
It's crazy.
But it ultimately takes a toll on their bodies and minds. The drug has the ability to control and manipulate people, and it's a big part of what makes it so dangerous, which is why the characters are working to stop the spread. The scientists...
No, keep going. Keep going.
Shut the fuck up.
Keep going.
There's a scientist named Dr. Emily White who is...
Wait, what did you look up? I'm so confused.
Keep going.
who's trying to learn about the drug and how it works. She wants to help people who get hurt by it and make sure that it doesn't spread. Throughout the story, she faces a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of people who want the drug to be a secret because they like how powerful it is. The movie is about good people trying to stop bad things from happening, showing that sometimes, even when something seems too big to fight, it is important to try to make the world a better place. The good guys work together to stop bad stuff and help everyone.
That is not the movie at all.
I looked up a different movie. Oh, I don't have my mic on. This had to be a different movie. Like, there's no way, girl.
There's no doctor.
There's no Dr. Emily. There's no good guys.
There's no good guys.
You know,
Do I get an A for effort?
A for effort, F minus.
What? So what is the
A for
plot?
effort, F for it being completely wrong movie.
Give your mic on.
You must.
She's in her hand.
Crazy style. Can you tell we took a TikTok break?
Okay, we are doing directing now.
Best director. We have a
sorry.
special place for one. Yet again.
This is especially for directing because, like, how would they nominate this movie for directing when the director literally knows nothing about the source material that he made the movie on? That's all I have to say.
And that three-way phone call scene was filmed in the bad place. That was like the worst thing I think I've ever watched in my life.
The first one that actually makes it up on the board. I'm sorry, Timmy.
It's not memorable, and I don't know who it's memorable for. I don't even know who this movie was made for.
There were some great performances from the actors, but I can't say that has to do from the director because they're already just good actors in general.
No, and
who can take directions and whatnot.
the choice to like leave in full songs, so many songs, all so long. I guess it's like technically a musical then, but it's not a musical because it's not about pushing the story forward.
Listening to
it's just
the
so
song.
that they can put Bob Dylan songs in a movie.
I feel like this falls in the same vibe that the actors are already good. With directing, it does differ depending on the director, like what they focus on. It's mainly acting, and then they can focus on something else like cinematography or hair and makeup or what have you, all the other stuff.
I felt like there was a lot of movement with shots, you know, like people walking around. That gave it some interest because it's like a big sets. They're like using like the whole field to walk around.
The fact that there were like some poor performances as well.
Oh yeah.
That a director can help with, personally, wasn't a fan of.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's a no from me, dog. Are we putting this one on top? Because I don't agree with that.
Why not?
It's also his fault that if you're doing like a fully improvised scene, you should stop it. You should not let your actors go on for that long.
This is where we
just
disagree.
Talking in circles.
Because
so boring.
This movie, I think, he did a really good job. Not only is he shows sex workers in like a positive light. Like a lot of sex workers like on the internet are like, this is the only thing or one of the only things that I've watched that actually portrays the livelihood in like a good way. And I feel like that is awesome. I know Amelia didn't like this, but the scenes where they talk over each other felt really natural to me. And I thought that that was really cool because a lot of times the movies try to stray away from talking over each other, but it made me feel like I was in the moment.
My argument for it feeling real is I don't really like believe in that with movies because like we're comparing it to The Substance where it's like, this isn't an unbelievable movie or a realistic movie, right? Even though it's a real scene, even though she would be yelling in circles if she was being attacked, I just don't like that the motivations never change throughout a scene. And I'm like, I don't care if that's realistic. He should have cut it and he should have had them do something else. Make something more interesting happen.
What can you say about this one that stands out for you?
Again, I really like the performances. It's just an interesting movie. I know it was like inspired by a lot of different other movies or at least directors. And so there's a lot of like symmetrical shots or like close-up shots of people's faces, which I think is interesting. And like the shrimp scene really stands out.
Disgusting.
As being like the most horrific thing in the movie. That's what the movie does really well. Scenes that aren't meant to be horror, but are able to be horror. But then like the other horror elements are like where the monster is getting ready, but it's like portrayed in like a fun like vibe. She's just getting ready for her night out. Yet she's like this horrific monster.
I wouldn't disagree that that's a good contender for directing, for sure. Do you think that the Academy's going to choose that one?
No, I think the Academy's going to choose like the Brutalist. And
again with the Brutalist, we don't like this movie, but
such an epic.
They don't have to like sweep everything, right? I hope that they don't choose that.
I think a close second is probably Anora. Emilia Perez is probably in jail with the Academy as well. So I would have said that before, but it seems like that's on the decline now.
Special guest on the pod.
Okay, The Substance is basically about this woman who was like a fitness instructor on a TV show, and they were kicking her out because she was too old, and she was sad about that, but she got something in the mail that was like, ooh, take this, find a younger self of yourself. And basically, she decides to eventually do that, and another version of herself comes out of her, like out of her back. Like, she creates a new one, a new version of herself. But every 7 days, she has to switch back and forth between the bodies. So she has a younger version of herself that is, you know, the classic young, beautiful, whatever. And then the older version of herself that she considers ugly, but I wouldn't say that Demi Moore is ugly whatsoever. She's just older and has insecurities. And then her younger self keeps doing longer days. And the longer time that you are of the younger self and not the older self, your older self, she starts decomposing. You have to use substance from the other body to bring into the new body to keep that new body working. Basically, the younger self kills the older self. She doesn't have any more substance to take from the older body because she killed her, so she tries to make another version of herself, and she grows a very grotesque version of herself. It got weird after that.
Remember in school when they tell you not to use Wikipedia? So don't use Wikipedia.
For this movie.
Because that's where I got my information from, and it really led me astray. Wikipedia? You're canceled. You're absolutely canceled.
So the next movie for the summary, I debated having her do a summary of this movie because it's pretty serious. I also think it'll be pretty hard to give a summary of this movie as well. It's called Nickel Boys, like the coin.
All right, the next category we're doing is film editing, and we're just gonna keep it running to start it off. We're just gonna, like, we don't have to talk about it, okay?
So bad.
She already talked about
the green screen is so bad.
The phone call.
Oh my god, that's like the worst scene I've ever watched in my life. We're both thinking it, so
We're just gonna do it because we're both thinking it.
because we're both thinking it, so
We just
gonna-
didn't love this movie.
It just didn't hit.
I could see them arguing the editing being good, but it's just, I just didn't like all the shots that they put in there.
Maybe edit it down.
The next one we're gonna do is Conclave.
I wouldn't say the editing stands out in this one.
No, I mean, I did think the shots were interesting when they were voting to like cut back in between each person and see their faces as all the names were being read. I think that was interesting.
Because
You know
it
what I mean?
really is about like people talking.
I liked it. It was one of my more favorite people talking movies.
I just didn't really understand it. Really? You think this has better
No, it's
editing?
okay. The next one we're gonna do is Anora.
Well, actually, is the glare and under editing.
I don't know if they would really consider the glare as something in editing.
There
If the
wasn't-
glare is happening like in real time, or if they added it.
Okay, but it wasn't nominated for cinematography or for directing.
a reason.
So I have to talk about the glare.
I mean, I didn't like the glare.
And they could have put the saturation up a little bit. It
So-
could have been more colorful.
Do you want this one next then?
Yeah.
Changing it? Obviously, it has way more other qualities that we enjoy in the movie. But I honestly don't think that the editing in these movies really stood out. Anora, I would agree with this one being at the top. Amelia doesn't agree, but I do like that long 10-minute sequence. There's some good editing in this movie, like the way that they cut between when they're in the strip clubs, just like how it makes you feel. I don't know.
It has a lot of fun colors and no glare.
No glare. I think the Academy is gonna choose the brutal.
What is this for editing? It could be wicked.
Honestly, I don't know why I think the Brutalist will sweep. It just feels like an Academy movie to me.
Yeah.
It's boring.
It just feels like a movie that they would enjoy. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, the next category is hair and makeup.
And we are just leaving Emilia Perez there from our last one because
She's stuck there.
we did not watch this movie, A Different Man. We're gonna put it down. Okay.
This is a pretty hard category. All three of these movies have pretty substantial special effects makeup. Nosferatu only has one creature.
And he looks cool, but like compared to the
He
other
does.
movies, it's just not as crazy. We can't like put it down for that because this is the source material that they were working with, the hair and makeup.
I also think he could have been like scarier because he did look a little corny by the time they showed him.
Mm-hmm.
While like the substance where it actually had like pretty, I mean, even this shot alone, that's scary. This scene.
And the last
the
last part was
the monster. Even then, the monster is
some of it probably at least was practical.
Crazy.
That was wild. Props to y'all. You can see a fan favorite here.
yeah.
Wicked, just I don't know.
Let's go Wicked!
The fact that Cynthia Erivo like had the green on the entire time she was filming,
Green.
she chose not to have it be VFX. Like she wanted it to, and I think this made her performance better too because she wore the actual makeup and it didn't like tamper
If
with
they
her
can
performance.
paint themselves green on Broadway 8 shows a week, I'm glad that they decided to do that for
Yeah.
the movie as well. So it is possible.
And the hair. I also think like everyone's hair, even like Ariana Grande's
Yeah.
hair throughout the movie. Ariana Grande's makeup, maybe not the best.
Well, is it the eyebrows that
For
lose you? 'Cause
Cynthia's, kind of, but is that not hair?
Excuse me?
Even then, she kind of looked a little bit dead. She needed some blush. That's it. But she needed blush.
she looked a little
And,
bit like Nosferatu.
Yeah, looking a little.
Spitting image.
I think Cynthia with the green, even her hair, the choice to do like the micro braids were so good. And I don't know if this falls under makeup, but like the nails, I love nails, and so it was fierce.
All right, we are going to kick it back over to Cherish, and we're going to hear all about what Nickel Boys is.
It's sad.
It is sad.
It's yeah.
I did not enjoy writing this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also, I think I'm missing quite a few things.
That's okay.
The Nickel Boys is a story about two boys, Elwood and Turner, who go to a bad school called the Nickel Academy. Elwood is a smart boy. He follows the rules. He believes in doing good things. Turner is more careful and tries to not get in trouble. And they both end up at this school because of unfair reasons. I'm pretty sure one of them is like convicted of a crime, I read. They end up at this school and the boys are treated so bad, so terribly from their teachers and other kids. Even though the school is supposed to help them, it actually is a place where kids suffer and are hurt. Elwood tries to stay positive and follow the rules. Turner tries to keep out of trouble as best as he can. The story shows how the boys deal with all of the unfairness and how their friendships help them through hard times. Even though they are faced with a lot of bad things, the story teaches us about hope, friendship, and how strong these kids are in a tough world.
That was pretty good.
Missing like 2 big plot points.
Which ones?
The ending?
I tried to write it as if somebody like me could understand. Or a first grader, I guess.
Okay.
Let us speak aloud.
Your last movie, man to woman, woman to man.
Your last movie is going to be Emilia Perez.
I didn't want to do this one.
And you have to sing it. Give me the most dramatic performance of your changing the body changes the soul. Changes the soul, changes society. Changes society, changes it all.
To kick off doing original score, I just like taking it off and putting it back. It feels good.
You didn't think the line, changing the body changes the soul. Changing the soul changes society. Changing society changes it all. That was my favorite part.
I think that the music is not very good. There are some songs that are okay, but
The one song I was like, this is okay, I'm vibing, was the lesbian song. That's the only one. The rest of them, I think, are so bad that they're funny, but that does not constitute
an Oscar.
No.
Okay, first one we're putting in is Conclave.
Conclave's score was interesting. So this is labeled as a thriller. I don't know if that's how I would classify it, but that's definitely what the score wants you to think. It'll be like a most silent scene of like people talking, and then all of a sudden it'll go beep, beep. Beep, beep. And I'm like, okay. It's not the most cohesive with the story, I would say, like the score with the story. And you don't even remember it, so.
No.
Bottom. I can't tell you I remember this one either.
We really don't like this movie. I think when it comes to score, it should make you feel moved, and it didn't really stand out to me.
I literally don't even remember the score at all. And we like just watched this movie.
Because we're talking about score, right? It does not include the songs.
I mean, of course, I want to say the music in Wicked is obviously amazing, but the score is, technically they can't, be nominated for any original song or anything. And the score is pretty much just like interpolations of the songs. The score is a very minuscule amount of what this movie is. It's the music under people talking. And the reason that you watch this movie is for the people that are singing.
Yeah.
So
this movie made me cry.
I will say the score, this is what I went to win score.
Just the music in general, just like the background music, no
score.
singing. It was good. It was really good. And I do also think the Academy is going to choose that one as well.
This is the one that stands out for score.
Mm-hmm.
They might give it to Wicked because it's Stephen Schwartz, but even then I'm like, it's interpolations of songs that already existed.
Yeah. Switching over, we are going to keep Emilia Perez in the doghouse.
What would you like to know about it, madam? I want to know it all. What is the protocol? Okay.
All right, now we're going to be doing sound, which is... I'm just gonna make an executive decision. This is not about the music in the movie. Sound is not about the music in the movie. It's about just like the overall like ambiance and vibe.
I was gonna give it for like, the recording studio sessions. I was like, well, that's like an interesting sound.
I don't care.
But it's not anything against any of these, so.
Sorry.
I'll give this first, but this one.
No, okay, no.
Are you joking? This has the monkey noises.
Okay, well listen, it was hard to hear Ariana in the first song.
Oh, okay, wait, no, I will allow the sound to be lower for this one.
I know they were singing live, but I don't think that they used a lot of that in the actual movie at the end. They probably did recordings of their singing as well, in a decent amount of it, especially like with the big groups and stuff. And that's not anything against it. They should do that because it will just sound better. I don't know.
I'm eating blood over here. I also agree with the sound. Some stuff was too quiet.
I do think that Dune has a really good sound, and maybe I also am thinking about the first movie too. But
again,
I get it.
We can blame my TV because the sound was actually ass
I
on
think
my
it's
TV.
really your TV. This is a 4.4 on Letterboxd.
I couldn't understand a single word they were saying. It was so quiet. I had to like turn my TV up so loud to hear what they were saying. Am I supposed to hate Paul? Because I hate Paul.
Think of all the fighting sequences, like the helicopters, or what are they called?
That is in the first movie.
No, like when they go and attack at the end of the second movie and then they fight, they're like, mine, I chip and shatter.
Yeah.
Like right before that, they
was
come
so
in with
cheesy. I was like, I do not like Paul.
top contender, the wild robot.
I think it should get sound because I do remember like the beginning of this movie is so quiet. It's only sound. It's only just like her walking
Foley and,
through like the forest. That scene is pretty memorable.
Yeah,
and that's due to the sound.
Yeah, that's true. They have to do a lot of work to build the entire environment.
I think the Academy for sure will choose one of these. They don't really like Dune, so I'm gonna say Wild Robot. Okay. I'm so ready for this.
It's a little blurry.
Also, no score. I'm pretty sure they couldn't nominate this because it wasn't an original score either. But the theme goes so hard. The
What I have does not make sense. So Selena Gomez, her character's name is Jess. I wrote down Selena Gomez, so I just know it says Selena. I think I got confused when I looked up the characters' names and then I started writing down their real names. So I think some of them,
What even
like,
is
is
her
EP
name?
a character or is that a person? Is that
EP, Emilia Perez.
Oh my god. So I wrote a short one and then I tried to write out a long one and then I was confusing myself when I
Trying to
wrote
make
it.
sense of it.
The short one is it's about a tough cartel boss who tries to escape the crazy violent life she's living by transitioning into a woman named Amelia. She wants to start over and live peacefully, but her past keeps catching up to her and she can't stop her violent instincts. In the end, things go horribly wrong because the dangers of the cartel world are just too much for her to escape.
Yeah, that sums it up.
So the long one, I got all my information off of Reddit, so I don't know how accurate it is. Anyways, okay, there's a sad lawyer who gets a call from somebody offering her a job and she gets caught by a bad guy and meets a boss who wants to change everything about himself and become a woman. Zoe doesn't know. Zoe doesn't know it's the same person, and then she meets Selena Gomez, the boss's wife, and she wants a new life in America. She goes on an adventure to find a doctor who can help, and the boss becomes a woman named Emilia Perez.
I want to know what the...
In London, Zoe goes to a party and meets a woman from Mexico, and they become friends. Later, Zoe figures out that the woman is actually the boss who changed into Amelia. I'm already confused. They start spending time together, but things aren't happy. Selena is sad, and she starts making really bad choices. Amelia,
so
I think it's into politics. I don't know. I was kind of confused on that. And tries to make the world better. She falls in love with somebody. Then there's a big speech and some songs happen. A lot of songs happen apparently. They're trying to convince everyone of something, but I don't know what the something is. I got really confused. At home, things are literally falling apart, crashing and burning.
Because changing the body changes the soul. That's what they're convincing them.
Selena and Amelia don't love each other anymore and they fight a lot. Selena says that she wants to leave with kids. I was confused because all of a sudden they start mentioning kids. Where the were the kids at? This is the first I'm hearing of kids. So she takes the kids and then Amelia tries to find them. She gets caught. A bunch of bad guys get her. Zoe and Amelia's friends try to save her. There's this huge blow up fight that happens. Selena and Amelia talk and they realize they still love each other. They try to escape together, but boom, car crash. And then the story ends with Amelia dying, I think, and people like remembering who Amelia is.
Everyone dies in that car crash.
What about the kids? What are these kids and where do they come from?
The kids are alive.
So Selena and her new BF kidnap Amelia for money reasons because Amelia was like controlling their money because, you know, she is somebody who they didn't think that she was.
Okay, Amelia is trans.
Yeah.
So Zoe transitions into Amelia.
No.
Zoe helps Amelia transition. Amelia hires her to find the best doctor to help her transition.
So who was Amelia before Amelia?
She was
The
a
cartel
boss.
Oh, that's what I wrote in the short one.
Married to Selena, had
So,
kids.
Overall, I'll give it a solid B.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. The last category.
Now for the big boy.
The one you've all been waiting for.
What Cherish has been preparing you for this whole time.
You're so welcome. You're in great hands.
And now, don't you feel prepared to talk about these movies? Because you know everything about them.
You know them now. The last time. I almost feel kind of sad.
I don't. I also have to say, because this is the last time we'll talk about it, I watched Emilia Perez on 1.5 times speed.
Which I didn't know you could do that.
That's an option on Netflix. That's how I got through that movie.
The first thing I'm going to talk about is I'm Still Here. We were not able to find this movie anywhere. I'm sure it's really great, but it's out of the running for us just because we haven't seen it.
I think this is last. I cannot believe this is nominated for Best Picture. I literally have nothing to say about this movie, and is that not just so telling? Like, it made me have no opinions. And there's a Letterboxd review that says, I didn't know anything about Bob Dylan before this movie, and I still don't know anything about Bob Dylan.
He wanted to play the electric guitar.
Like, literally.
And he did. I read it. He did.
Nothing against Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan has the right to be one of the best songwriters of all time. This movie does not have the right to be the best movie.
This is just how we feel about these movies.
This is definitely not what we think the Academy is going to put these movies
The
at.
Academy is probably going to pick that one.
I'm glad you caught on.
Yeah, if it needed to be 3.5 hours long and it had an intermission, I'd be like, enough said. I respect it. I think that's really cool, and more movies should do that if they are pushing 3 hours, right?
I think just the pretentious films don't do it for me. I'm not taking anything from this movie. Maybe because I don't relate to it. It's about like an immigrant chasing the American dream.
What it's about, I think, is important. I just don't think the movie did well enough with it for me to be like, oh, that's like, yeah, exactly.
It's also like not even based on somebody. What American dream are you trying to portray? I don't even know.
I did enjoy Conclave, but like next to all these other ones, it's definitely a lot lower on the scale.
Is it the Pope one?
Yeah.
The white hat?
Yep.
And I will say, Conclave has such a slow start to it. It took me a long time to get into it. There's something in the middle of the movie that happens that finally like draws you in, but just hearing them talk for like the first part of the movie, and I don't know anything about the Catholic Church, so they're saying things that I don't know anything about, and so I'm just like,
The papacy.
Okay. Well, what's the word that they say? Something like, I don't know, it was in like all the, like the Letterboxd reviews. Your Eminence.
Your Eminence.
Is that just a regular word, or does that have to do with the Catholic Church?
I mean, it might originate from there, but no, Your Eminence is just like something that people say to like people of higher power, in a sense.
Oh, I don't got no higher power.
God.
I'm the higher
Or
power.
any other higher power who might be listening. It's me. I mean, Campbell.
Or recognize
You probably already know that.
Next movie, we haven't really talked about this one yet, Nickel Boys. I think what it was trying to tell was really important. The first person perspective was interesting because they were putting you in the shoes of these boys and like seeing how it feels to be a young black kid in the 60s, right? However, the first person perspective, the entire movie was really hard for me to like connect with the characters.
Or even like the single shot scenes. I think of the one in the bar, and it's not even first person perspective, it's the back of his head. But that scene is literally so long, like it's probably 20 minutes, and I don't even think I'm exaggerating. I'm not a huge fan of like long scenes, so to have a single shot, no changing,
One perspective.
only seeing one person's reaction, damn, it's a rough scene to watch.
What's next for you?
This movie is too confusing.
It's not though.
To
It's
be
not
in Best
though.
Picture. It is. Don't say it's not confusing because it is confusing.
Just so you know,
And-
everyone, I would put this movie higher, but Amelia is forcing me to put it lower.
I'll give my one reasoning for why it's just not Best Picture. Why I'm putting it here for Best Picture. You really have to be invested in this movie to understand it. You have to be in like the fandom for it. That's just not what a Best Picture is. It should be something
But you're gonna put Wicked
more
at the top.
universal.
Agree to disagree, okay?
You don't think you could watch this movie and like it?
That is my best picture, and I think that should win. But you're saying that people only like Dune because it has a fan following.
Because-
As if you're not gonna turn
Listen.
and say
No.
like,
Dune is so complicated that you have to be a fan to like that movie.
No, you don't.
Yes, you
don't.
do.
I tried to read the book. To try to get into that book, it's really difficult because they just jump right at you with all of like the terminology that is you don't know. But I think the movies do a really good job at like helping you understand what these things are.
I disagree. You're the only person that I've talked to that has said it's not complicated to understand.
Ask the nerds.
Yeah, the people who are in the fandom. They like to understand this. I'm not in the fandom, and I think this movie is so confusing.
I'm turning my mic on to talk about this. My thing is, I'm just comparing it to Wicked because Wicked also has a fan base, and a lot of people don't like Wicked.
Confusing.
It kind of is, though. I mean, part one, no, it's not confusing, but explaining to somebody how it ties into Wizard of Oz, like really only people who are in the fandom know. The plot is easier to follow, but to say that people only like Dune when they're in the fandom, and then you're gonna put Wicked probably at number one. Do you see my argument? Is my argument reasonable?
I think your argument is reasonable.
No,
I think
no.
that, say what you want,
Hold on.
Dune 2 has a higher rating on Letterboxd than Wicked Part 1 does, so.
Yeah, because, again, only people...
Do we need to look at how many people rated it?
Because only people who want to understand this movie has watched it.
It probably also has a higher rating because Wicked is a musical, and there's a lot of people that don't like singing.
But also, a lot of
that's
people...
fair.
Hold on.
Wicked is like the musical that anyone would watch. If they watched any musical, Wicked would be a musical that they would watch.
But a wider
Crying in Hairspray,
audience
but okay.
has watched Wicked than Dune. A wider audience, people who wouldn't see musicals would go watch Wicked and rate it low. Only people who like sci-fi, also only people who have seen the first Dune would watch Dune Part 2. You have to be invested to be a part of this movie.
I think you should watch it on Not a Shitty TV.
But even then, it is a confusing story, and I can't believe you're disagreeing that this is not confusing. Like, that is insane.
I'm not saying it's not
crazy.
complicated. I'm saying that the movies do a good job with the source material. The source material is really complicated, but the movies do a good job in like showing...
You know what's also based on Dune? Star Wars. And that is not confusing.
You don't like Star Wars.
Okay, we're moving on from Dune. What's the next one?
The Substance. I don't really have much to say about it. We've talked about it a lot. We know I already would put this higher, but sure.
I think it's it's an interesting story. I wish I went into it blind because I saw so much about it before watching it. And I wish I didn't know anything. Like, I wish, it was a surprise when I saw that there was somebody coming out of her. I wish it was more shocking for me, but honestly, like, none of it surprised me. And I don't fully blame the movie for that. I kind of blame waiting so long to watch it. Even if then, for it to be Best Picture, that shouldn't stop it.
I really liked Anora. We've talked about it enough. That's all I really should say about it. Wicked was a good movie. I would probably put Dune 2 at the top.
Hey, I also have other critiques of Anora, though. Or are you just cutting
No, you can go.
I will say, I don't think they did Anora justice in this movie. I don't think we see enough of her. We just don't see what she wants. I know it's kind of meant to be open-ended, like, are they really in love or are they not? But I wish it was more deliberate with how she felt about things. We really weren't seeing any of her emotions, like her actual like underlying reasons for doing all of this, or even wants. Like, what's her goals after this? I feel like it's a very 2D version of a character. Justice for Anora. I don't think they gave her enough to work with. But obviously, Wicked on top. Wicked is amazing. What would you put on top? Would you put Dune above Wicked?
Listen, if I go back into my letterbox and I look at what I rated all these movies, Dune 2 was the highest rated movie for me last year for the nominated pictures. I honestly think that this year, not crazy. The options, not that wild, but I will continue down the hill. Last year, Spider-Verse 2 should have won Best Picture. That was the best movie of 2023.
It should have won every category.
I still haven't watched it.
It should have been nominated for music.
Every single category ever. Like, yeah, music. It should have been nominated for score. It should have won score, and it should have won best song, and it did neither of those things.
And it lost to Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, that movie was boring as hell.
I think they kind of just gave it to Boy and the Heron because he said it was like his last movie, even though he's been saying
He said that the last time.
years, but whatever. All right, do we have anything else to say? Anything more to say about the Oscars?
Oh, what do we think is gonna win?
Oh,
I think the Brutalist is.
we still think,
Although some people are saying it might be Anora, I would kind of be surprised.
I would be more happy about this than this.
Over the Brutalist. I really think the Academy is gonna like the Brutalist, though. I would be surprised if the Brutalist didn't win Best Picture.
Thank God for The Cage.
Hopefully it stays there and does not leave when the Oscars start.
Make sure to tune into the Oscars on March 4th.
March 2nd.
Make sure to tune into the Oscars on March 2nd. We certainly will be. This was really fun. I had Yeah, no, come in.
I'll just sit on the edge.
I hope y'all had a good time watching, and tell us what you think should win. If you made it halfway, we'll know. But if you made it all the way to the end,
Just comment your Letterboxd. We'll be mutuals on Letterboxd.
tell us if you even watched most of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture, because we sure didn't, but now we have.
And there's not a lot that
Feel free
stick
to
out.
reorder this. Do you agree with this ranking, or would you?
Would you put Dune 2 up higher like me?
Your top movie?
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We have a good time doing this, but it's really fun when we get to share it with you all too. So
We love. I don't have a mic, but all of our social medias are linked in the description box below.
Comment a movie that you would like us to do. Comment a movie you would like us to do a movie commentary on.
So if you took away one thing from this video, please leave a comment.
If you have a thought, just comment it.
if you liked our costumes,
Did you know what we were?
that.
We kind of didn't say.
we didn't say.
Beginning.
Bye.